Listen to me all times, keep yourself protected. If I say stop, you stop. Want to touch gloves, do it now. God bless.
Islam Makhachev continues to confidently defend the title of Khabib Nurmagomedov's protege. In a dominant way, he took the lightweight title, defeating top Brazilian Charles Oliveira, and then defended it against the current featherweight champion Alex Volkanovski. And in October there may be a confrontation between Islam and Dustin Poirier. Hello everyone, Fighters with You MMA channel. In this video I will give a prediction for a potential fight between Dustin Poirier and Islam Makhachev. But before the start of this video, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and like so that as many fans around the world as possible can watch this episode. Why is Poirier a contender in the first place, you ask? It's simple. Initially, the winner of the pair, Darius Oliveira, was supposed to come out on Islam. But due to the fact that their fight was postponed to the summer, it is not a fact that by October they will have time to recover. And then Dustin Poirier just appears, who in the last fight in a spectacular manner defeated Michael Chandler, who is in the top 5, and naturally the main promotion of the world is interested in such a fight. Also, another factor why Poirier, if suddenly defeats Oliveira, then the UFC will have to organize a rematch, and their last fight was 1 wicket in favor of Makhachev, and no one will care about this rematch. And Dustin is not on Islam's list yet. Fans will clearly be interested in looking at this fight. After all, Islam is on a winning streak of 12 fights in a row and smashes everyone in his path, and Dustin has lost only with a strong top of his weight, at least recently. Khabib Nurmagomedov and Charles Oliveira were the ones who were able to stop the Diamond, and these fights were for the status of the undisputed champion, and the rest of the tops were simply demolished by the Diamond. In his piggy bank there are victories over such fighters as Mike Chandler, who at the moment closes the top 5 lightweight, Justin Gaethje, who is also in the top 5, Conor McGregor, Max Holloway, and many more elite fighters who went through the Diamond, and how after that not to give him a title fight. I repeat, he has lost only twice recently, Khabib and Charles, as you already know, in championship fights. So why not give him the last third chance to win the lightweight trophy, especially since I don't really see competitors from the Diamond. Justin Gaethje, as I understood, is not considered by the company. The Oliveira-Darius fight will also not be able to perform in such a short time, and who are now available Chandler and Poirier. I think the company is unlikely to be profitable to release a fighter who has more defeats than victories in the UFC, and of course, the eyes of the main promotion fell on Poirier, and as for me, this is an ideal decision. And now let's move on to the analysis of the fight, whether Islam will be able to keep the title, or the American will finally feel the taste of the championship gold. Percussion style. Well, as usual, we start our analysis with striking techniques, and the first in line is Dustin, who in this way feels like a karateka on the tatami. Yes, I know you expected the phrase like a fish in water, but it is already too hackneyed, and so I decided to come up with something new. So, for so many years spent in the company, Dustin has not lost a drop in speed, technique, or power. He continues to perform at a high level and defeat many top fighters due to his boxing, as I have already said. On his account, such names as Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway, you can list forever, although a lot of time has passed. But he's still one of the best lightweight boxers until I've seen a fighter who can beat Poirier on his hands. Let's move on to the striking component of Islam Makhachev. Islam, as you all know very well, is an elite level fighter, and naturally he will progress. Compare his striking technique in the initial fights and the current ones. You will see a huge difference. Now he is calmly competing on his hands with the former first place of Panda for pound Alex Volkanovski, who generally expected that Islam would give such a serious rebuff to the Australian. He was even able to send Alex to the surface a couple of times, so not having time to evaluate Islam's striking technique is not the best idea. Moreover, Islam's best friend and part-time sparring partner Khabib Nurmagomedov will clearly give a couple of tips on how to act better on his hands. Khabib is clearly the person who does not advise bad things. He knows what it is to miss a hard slap from an American. As for the favorite, I will choose Dustin Poirier. The years go by, but Poirier is still dangerous in his hands, and if Islam believes too much in his boxing, it can have a bad effect on him. Playing from the bottom. Let's move on to wrestling, and this time we will start with Islam, which has been learning the basics of this sport since childhood, and as we can see, it has borne fruit. Thanks to his wrestling skills, Islam was able to strangle a fighter who until that moment was considered a threat to him. Yes, I am talking about the fight against Charles Oliveira, when Islam threw the Brazilian as soon as he wanted. If someone thought that it was an accident, then look at the confrontation with Makhachev. Makhachev in that fight also translated and held the Australian without any tension. Yes, he could not strangle him or exhaust him much, but his control deserves special respect. Many say that Oliveira, Volkanovski, or someone else will cause problems for Makhachev, but as we can see, these are people who do not understand anything about mixed martial arts. Let's move on, and next in line we have Dustin Poirier, and here Dustin has a lot of problems for fear of this word. If someone wants to transfer him, then he will do it without any difficulty. Even the same useless kickboxer named Dan Hooker was able to transfer a diamond. Chandler held the American for a whole round and did not let him rise, and Poirier, judging by his appearance, did not try very hard. Dustin has had problems in this field throughout his career. Even Oliveira, who has never been famous for his translations, transferred him and controlled him for a whole round. I don't know what he will come up with to avoid fighting Islam. Absolutely every fighter has fought him. I'm not talking about wrestlers. He can be a striker just for fighting. Therefore, Islam Makhachev will be considered the wildest favorites in this aspect. Cardio spirit. Let's move on to Dustin Poirier's gas tank, and here I have no complaints about him. He also performed at a high level throughout his career, and more than once passed all 5 rounds, where he looked great. Yes, maybe the fight Makhachev will take a little strength, but from this Dustin is unlikely to look for an oxygen mask like Ngannou in the first fight against Stipe. As for Islam's stamina, in his last fight he demonstrated that he can go all 5 rounds at a high pace, and not without difficulties, but he can. I will give this aspect to Dustin, since he has much more experience of passing 5-round distances, and it means that he will know what to do in emergency situations. As for the spirit, here I will believe more in Makhachev, who will always go to victory, and Dustin has mental problems every other time. Forecast. I think that Islam Makhachev will win this fight due to his wrestling base. He knows that Poirier is not in this path. He will just repeat Khabib's game plan and finish it in the first 3 rounds.